2, 1. All right. We are back after taking a week off. But we took a week off for a special occasion. I actually had my firstborn child. My son Caden was born last Thursday, so I wasn't able to make it. But now we're back. I'm here with the face that runs the place, TJ, Two Swoosh Chains. What up, girl? How you been?
What's going on? We are back, and that's right. We have AJ, aka First Time Daddy, here on the show. So he looks good, right? Doesn't look sleep deprived or anything, but that's because he literally has probably the best and flyest little infant on the block right now. So he's getting sleep, and he is here so we can kick off another episode of Mic'd Up with AJ and TJ. And this week, we're going to touch on streetwear, clothing, and how closely related it is to kicks in terms of getting your hands on it, the weight that it carries in the space as well, in terms of fashion, an overall cohesive look, and then the reality that sometimes you have to look at the quality versus maybe the price point that you're looking at. And when does it make sense to buy one or the other? When does it make sense to buy that top tier item, or when does it make sense to buy affordable alternative to that?
Yeah. This is an interesting topic because people who know me, and you know me, TJ, I can literally go to any department store or whatever, and we can make a fly outfit. We talked about this, I believe, on maybe 2 episodes ago or episode ago, that I walked into a Ross or it was a Marshalls or something. I made a vintage looking outfit for under $20, and that's a shirt.
Bargains.
Yeah, like shirt and a pant. I mean, of course. Okay, when I say under $20, I'm not talking about the sneakers. The sneakers are going to be the most expensive,
Right.
thing on our body, and a lot of the stuff, or is if people gift you stuff, like, TJ gets gifted stuff, I get stuff. So it's like sometimes we don't spend the money, but there's ways. TJ is going to show you some hacks, and she
There are ways to be able to get the look that you want. Now, a lot of times that look can be inspired by a number of things you see on social media. Maybe it's fellow friends or sneakerheads that just have really great taste and style. That's one reason why I love Instagram. Like, I'm never really on Facebook personally. I'm on Instagram a lot. It's not just to share the content that I'm making, but it's also to see what else is out there and be inspired by it. And the people that I follow lately, listen, it's about the style. It's not just about the shoes. Being able to see what shoes look like on foot or in hand, that's a dime a dozen now. Like, a lot of people are into this, but seeing their take or perspective on how to best make that shoe look in terms of their outfit, that's what really captures my attention now. So there are options out there. Don't ever feel just because there is a brand that is very much in the forefront that you have to adhere to either just that brand. Even if you want that look, I think that's something people have to be careful of. And when it comes to streetwear, honestly, it's just as coveted, it's just as cutthroat and difficult to be able to get your hands on as sneakers these days. I mean, we're not immune to the fact that you can take a Supreme L just as quickly as you can take an L on the sneakers app. One just normally comes before the other one, right? A Supreme L is probably going to come on a Thursday morning versus that sneakers app L. We're usually used to taking that on a Saturday morning, but it goes to show you that people are still waiting in line. They're at the ready, they're at the go on their phones or on their laptops to be able to get these items because maybe there's a whole look they have in mind, or maybe it's just going to be that focal point. Think about it. Shoes for us can be the focal point of an outfit, but if it is a streetwear brand item you have, it can be Supreme, Antisocial, Social Club, V-Lone. That may be the focus of your outfit, and maybe you work from there. So difficulty in being able to get your hands on that, it's real. It is very real. Brands just taking over. Like, there just may be one brand that is outshining the rest right now. And even though I have a bias towards this brand, I don't think people need to feel as if they have to just buy all into Fear of God just because that is something that is readily out there. Like, have you seen the meme on social media that's floating around now about TikTok? So there's a meme right now where there's a guy and a girl, and she's wearing very something similar to this, right? She's wearing a sweatshirt. It's got essentials on the front. And a guy walks up to her and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were into Fear of God." And she's like, "What's that?" and he just walks away the opposite direction. So I guess the trend, I'm not on TikTok like that, but I guess the trend is a lot of TikTok influencers are wearing Fear of God essentials pieces, whether it's the tees, the hoodies, long sleeves, crew necks, whatever you may have it, probably a lot of the hoodies, but they have no idea that the actual branding behind it is not essentials. It's Fear of God.
Yeah.
Don't know that. So again, it's that power of, well, this is trending and this is what's big and this is what's hot. So people go for it, but there's a certain price point, of course, for Fear of God, even
Hmm.
essentials pieces that you have to pay. So don't feel as if you have to buy into that, especially if that's not within, your budget of what you can afford.
Yeah. Um, and this is where it kind of like does it for me because I don't mind spending the money on the shoes or whatever, or like even like a nice top, but your favorite brand is a little expensive for me. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, $750 to what, $1,000 for some pants. Again, I mean the quality is great. And I've said this before. TJ got me hooked on the essential brands, which you can get um, on PacSun. There's what's the other website?
Another good, yeah. Essence is another good one to.
Yep.
And here's the thing, right? So when he says the price point of anywhere from $300 to $1,000, so he's referring to their main line collection.
Mainly,
So
yeah.
seventh collection released in 2020 technically. So it's a pre-order and then your items are shipped out, because I have a friend who just got his in. I think he got the Negro Leagues crew neck sweatshirt, I think is what he ended up pre-ordering. So yeah, those price points, they're up there. It's pretty much that tier system in terms of pricing. So you have the higher American luxury pricing for the mainline items, and then it does drop down to essentials. But even then, there are a lot of people like AJ, they feel sometimes, if you take that drop down, you may be more comfortable with that, right? The sweatshirts, the hoodies are $90, long sleeves are 50, t-shirts are usually 40 to 45, sweatpants are 95, shorts are 70. So you may feel even that's too steep. I mean, I've seen the tweet on Twitter that said, when did $65 hoodies and $95 sweatpants like become the norm? Well, it doesn't have to be the norm if you don't want to
Mm,
pay that. We all have options that
yeah.
are available. So I think you have to keep that in mind. There is a target audience in mind that values the item at the price that it's at, because it can be based on the material sourcing. It can be based on the way that it's structured. How is it executed? How does it fit? How does it lay? How timeless is it? That's one reason I think
Hmm.
Essentials is priced the way it is. It will stand the test of time in terms of style,
Thanks.
because a lot of it is neutral. It's tonal, so you can wear it with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So going back to the whole where you can get the stuff from, right? A few days ago, I went to Walmart and just shopping around. I'm like, let me see what they're, because a lot of these companies like Walmart, Target, Myers, and whatever you have, their apparel, they started going towards that trend
Right.
of what's out. And I was actually I took some pictures. I want to send it to you because they had crew necks, sweatshirts, all this oversized, right? And again, oversized is a thing now. Like it's coming back, like how it was in the 90s, how it was in the 80s. You're still wearing the tighter pants, but like the oversized shirts and everything, which is what Fear of God and Essential, some Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. And they had some of these crew necks that just look, if you were to look at it and you didn't know, you would just be like, that's something that an off-white would do, or
Okay.
that's something Fear God would do. It's just crazy. And it was 499 or 497 for the t-shirt, and it was $10 for the hoodie. And I'm like, I should buy it and wear it on one of our shows and see if anybody can notice. Like, hey, I mean, now they probably will when they're watching this, but I'm just saying, like, like that's something that you can literally. And then now they started carrying joggers, and their joggers are not like the old school. Remember the strapped up on the ankles? It's like a dope jogger. Like you can literally do.
Branching into more of that,
Yeah.
the tech aesthetic. If you
Hmm.
have a jogger, right? It's the tech. It's what we know is tech fleece
Yeah.
zipper.
Well,
Okay.
that's what they have. Their version, they pretty much, it's pretty much a tech fleece pants, and it has the whole like the zipper look to it. And I'm like, dang, you can do a whole dope outfit for $15. The pants are it was sick.
So PacSun is one of the retailers you can absolutely go to for Fear of God Essentials drops. Essence is now going to be my favorite go to
Hmm.
because they were just easier, a better shopping experience. Their shipping is insanely fast. On
Yeah.
release day, it was
Yeah,
pretty.
compared to PacSun, they take forever.
Yeah, it was trying. It was like trying to check out on Sneakers app Saturday morning. It was not a good thing on PacSun. I was able to check out a pair of the nylon track pants, but that wasn't what I was going after. I really wanted the coveted knit hoodies, which if you guys are watching, you can see one of them in the oatmeal heather or in the cream. I'm sorry, back there. So that's what I really wanted. The knit hoodies and by far. Listen, if you all have never bought an essentials piece, the knit hoodies, that is the piece you need in your
How,
wardrobe.
how do those fit? Same oversized like.
They actually have a heavier weight to them,
Okay.
and they are, I would actually venture to say, a little bit larger, like slightly larger than what your normal Fear of God size would be,
Okay.
only because it's a knit material. So it's just going to lay a little bit different,
Mm,
and then it will stretch out as you're wearing it naturally. So
okay.
just keep that in mind. So if you want like super, super oversized, I actually did that. I went with a medium for the first time ever in anything essentials. It was one of the last items available on Essence that day of the drop on January 15th. And I picked up a medium in the cream. And if you guys follow me on Instagram at talkstywith.tj, you'll see me post quite a few pictures in this as I go throughout the next week.
Well, somebody else. Speaking of posts, somebody else. So somebody else saw you post that and repost that. Can you elaborate on that? I know you're trying to be super humble right now, but
So this was
yeah.
I don't know if this will be topped. Let's put it that way. In 20,
Uh,
I would need like Clay or Steph to retweet, or not retweet, but reshare something. So as I was capturing content for the brand new oatmeal heather knit hoodie that I got in from Essence, I decided to capture a picture of all three knit pieces that I have by Fear of God, and I shared it to my story. Tagged Jerry Lorenzo, Fear of God collection, and he reshared that to his stories today. And for those of you who know me, you know at that moment, all other things cease to matter.
she's dying inside right now. She just wants to yell so bad.
I was it was really interesting. So I people appreciate that I'm humble, but they don't appreciate the fact that I will downplay a lot of things that happen. It's just luck or chance. And listen, for a lot of people, again, it may not be a big deal whatsoever that was shared, but that's my favorite designer, somebody that I'm inspired by just in terms of the person they are, how they carry themselves, their character, how they manage their business, and then the different stories and the way that they go about leaving their mark in this space. It's not always conventional, and that's what I really appreciate about it. So, I think that, oh, I'm trying my best to always do the items justice when I get them in and capture them and share them. And so I had friends that were like, well, you need to not downplay it and take it as a big deal. So I'm still coping with that. I'm trying to let it all.
You tripping, girl. I would have been like doing cartwheels. I'm sure you did. This girl probably locked her. And look at her. You see how red she's turning right now. For people who are listening, for watching and not listening, TJ's turning super red right now. Look at that. No, but that's really dope because she sent me the picture and she didn't even say anything. She's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna bet something," and I'm just like, "What?" And I looked and I'm like, "Oh, she reposted." Then I
Girl.
looked. Then I looked up and I'm like, "Holy crap! This is on Jerry Lorenzo's page." So
I'm just gonna let that fangirl moment sink in. So yes, I am still on cloud nine. I'm up there, but I'm brought back down here to make sure that we can all talk.
yeah.
So yeah,
No,
with those pieces in essence, like listen, the shipping is awesome for them. So got those pieces in. But when it comes to the actual look of them, that style, like the fact that it is oversized, the draping, the fit, that helps set it apart. Now it's the quality of the actual pieces that I think take it a step further. But like AJ was saying, you can go a number of places to be able to get a look that is similar but does not cost the exact same price point. And so I think that's something that you should keep in mind. And there are tons of options you have out there, right? Like some that are just mainstream known in terms of social media. Minimal is one of them. I know a lot of you have seen those posts up. Paul of Locust and Wild Honey, he will on his channel, he will have tons of minimal pieces shown on there, and it's a good option to mix and match different things. For me, even if minimal it maybe is not the route that you want to go, and you want a tier that's a little bit lower, I like H&M as well. Still, like that's
Yep.
go-to. That's a go-to for me. Now during pandemic, like listen, the shipping was horrendous during lockdown,
Yeah.
really bad. They were one of the companies heavily affected by the pandemic and carriers not being able to get things to people because it just took forever to get from warehouse to the actual stores, the locations for H&M. But now that that's resolved, there are a lot of staple standard options that you can get from H&M to give you the same looks, because sometimes maybe it's the I think sometimes just the aesthetic, like the fact that it is tones. Like I feel like a lot of times people don't realize they're falling in love with the tones, maybe
Yeah.
something, right? Like, I mean, if you watch the inauguration, I have a feeling that monochromatic everything will be in just based on the way every woman there slayed the monochromatic look from
Mhm.
Michelle Obama to Kamala Harris to even Dr. Biden. Like, listen, those women killed it. So
Yeah.
monochromatic will probably be in for the entire year. I'm just going to throw that out there for 2021. But the tones in themselves, muted neutrals mixed with blacks, olives, all of the tans, khaki color, those are options that you have. It may be just the color that gets you.
Yeah. And
So
it's funny that you say that, because that's what these brands go after. If you can walk into, H&M, and another place people sleep on is Forever 21.
I
They
walked away from them, I think, after I left college. I think I walked away from them.
but they stepped it up. Like some of their stuff for the guy, I feel like their guy stuff are a lot better than what it was. So a lot of these companies. So when I used to be a merchandiser for Nike,
Right.
for a regional rep, and I would go into like Dick's Sporting Goods and Sports Authorities and whatnot, and that's so brands know a year in advance what the next color is going to be for next year.
Right.
That's how they do it. Like right now, if you think about it, it's pretty much earth tones that are popping right now, right? Like the olive greens, the browns, like the dark yellows. And again, you can see it even with Nike. Look at the dunks that are coming out. They had the Iowa Highs, or the Wu Tangs. Then they have the concept dunks that came out. What dunks that just came out today? Well, not on Nike, but it was the Notre.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was
You
tone.
see?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think people forget brands can't operate on a quarter to quarter basis in terms of what's going to come out. Like that has to be in the works
Yeah.
long before they actually get to those release dates. And it's probably more so the colors, I think, that can draw people in. Like if you look at Nike's line right now, so let's just say even if the Fear of God Essentials, their sweats line, maybe that's not the way for you to go, but you're just heavily into Nike. Maybe you want to stick to what you know you're a little bit more comfortable with. You don't even have to go as high as the Nike Lab pieces, because
Mm.
those are going to run you the same price point because they are that same quality, I would say, as Fear of God Essentials. But if you look at Nike's new basketball line that came out, it's very minimal. They've
Fire.
gone to the retro stitching, just a solo stitch, a swoosh on the side. The pants are very tonal. So if you have not checked out their new line, I would say do that, because they have a lot of beige, a lot of sail, a lot of mint, a lot of olive. Burgundy is in the mix as well. So you can get that same look, and you're not going to have to pay the higher prices. You may drop down to $50 and $60, which means you're saving a little bit on what you may pay for another top tier brand, but it still gives you that look. It gives you that comfort. You know that it's going to last over time. And I think when it comes down to then you're looking at like, oh, well, the alternative options that I can have, because I can still go put together an outfit that is tonal and that is at H&M. It looks just as good. And I don't have to necessarily pay the full higher price I would pay for another streetwear brand that just has a higher markup value. But it may come down to how often are you going to wear the item that
Hmm.
is higher quality to justify the price.
Yeah.
That plays a part, I think, because okay, so looking at it, I'm debating right now, personally, just so you guys know, with like the essentials puffer jacket, right? It's a
Fire.
jacket, down filled. I believe they have most of the colors that just released for the second drop of the fall winter 2020. So you have the taupe, you have olive. I think you might have light oatmeal heather, and I think black, navy, rain drum is still an option on Essence. So I'm debating like, okay, so that's $200, or there is an alternative that you could get. I think Minimal had just released that they have puffers as well. And I think those are anywhere from $60 to maybe $80. So
Hmm.
you have an option. So I was actually asking a friend, I'm like, which one would you get? And he goes, okay, well, how often are you going to wear this puffer? At least this season right now. And I'm like, okay, I do live in the Midwest, but truth be told, we haven't had a harsh winter and we're somewhat moving out of winter at this point.
Well, I mean, Chicago's about to get hit this weekend, so
Never
I
was gonna get hit. We do drop. We were 43 today. Was
yeah,
our
same.
felt really really nice out. I
And
know.
we're like -1, -2 tomorrow, something like literally. We were 41 today.
We get a high of 27 tomorrow, so it's not really bad. But just to think like, okay, so how much winter would I still have left? How often are you gonna wear it? And if you guys know me, you know I have a lot of jackets, a lot of jackets, a lot of coats. So it now comes down to how often will I wear it? Because you can sometimes, a good thing to do, break down whatever the price is by how often you're gonna wear it. How many wears are you getting out of it? What is
Yeah.
the cost gonna break down to, like, per wear? And maybe if I were to buy the puffer and wear it religiously, like all of next winter, right? Like maybe I clean out my closet some, that becomes my go to, then that $200 makes sense. If
Hmm.
not, and it's going to be a jacket that's worn maybe sometimes in between all of the other jackets, the lower $60 to $80 makes
Sure.
sense. And
Or you could even do the same puffer jacket. You're talking about the more down, right? Like the one with the
yeah,
feathers. Yeah. So every year Macy's does the same thing. They have those like you could like puffer jackets, but you could roll them up into a little bag.
right.
I think it's like $30 when they're on sale. It is one of the warmest ones.
Is it
First, I saw it's super warm. Like it looks super thin, but it's super warm. So that is another option. And then, like going back to what TJ was saying about the jackets, I have maybe 4 jackets that I wear throughout the winter because the thing with Chicago is you don't know the weather. Like today was 42.
mm,
Tomorrow's going to be -1. So when it gets really cold outside, of course, I have my, the higher end Jordan, the puffer with the. It's not like really a puffer. It's the Jordan down jacket, right? It's like you're the one you've seen it. The
Parker?
yeah, Parker. Yeah. So it goes down to your thing, thank you. They sent it to me. So that's super warm. I could literally take my dog for a walk and I won't feel anything. The
Right.
other one that I wear is when it's nicer out, like when it's like 20 degrees, 30 degrees, I'll wear my Fear of God, the one that I showed you,
Well,
uh, the camo with the orange on the inside. Love it. Other than that, I have one more that I keep. It's the Jordan City of Flight, and that's something. But now when you go out, of course, you have to have something. Then I had that one nice jacket. It's like the trench coat. It's a Louis Vuitton one, but it's a trench coat. Again, it's something that in Chicago, 7 months out of a year, sometimes even 8 months, it's winter or cold. So over here, we somewhat need it. By TJ, like sometimes she's like, oh, I'm like, how cold is it over there? She's like, it's like 30, 40 degrees. I'm like, how cold is it here? Oh, it's like 10. So
yeah, there's a
literally, she lives like 4 hours away from me, right? No, 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours.
to shift from Chicago area and all of the lake effect snow and weather they get, and if you shift over to Indiana, there's a difference, right? And we just don't get as harsh weather as
Hmm.
what they'll get, because I
Yeah,
also work from home. The time that I am outside is limited outside of when I may have to take my dog out, like
yeah,
mandatory. Otherwise, I can plan out errands to be ran one day out of the week, actually, and not have to brave the cold a whole lot.
yeah,
So for me right now, and because again, I have tons of jackets, I have to weigh the quality versus the quantity. When does it make sense to just invest in that higher piece, like spend the money to get all of the quality, possibly the branding, yes, as well, because you are always going to pay for the branding. We can't ignore
Mm-hmm.
that. When does it make sense for that? For how often you'll wear it? For me, also, how often I'll wear it. How often will it be styled with so many different things? Because for me, I do take that into account. And I'll have to look to like now, how close is it to something else I have? And do I really need another? So if you love the fit of something, but you just want more colorways, that always makes sense. And
Mm.
so part of you may decide to elevate your closet. It may make sense for you to elevate your closet, take out the items that don't wear well over time, they break down, they don't look the best anymore. And that is a reason why you may pay more for an item, but it makes sense to. And if you care for it well, it continues to last. So for things that can easily be layered, or a different fit or something may come out, like shirts that are layered under things, go to H&M, buy
Mm-hmm.
5 shirts of the same color of something you really really love. Like I love their slub fit tees. They're just really comfortable, they fit really well, they wash really well. Buy 5 of those if you need to, in white and tan and gray and black and olive and different colors.
Yeah.
And then for the other pieces in your wardrobe, it may make sense to go ahead and get the quality. But if you're not at that point, you're looking at your budget like, hey, I have to focus on some other things, but I still really want to have a total shift of what I'm wearing. This goes better with maybe the aesthetic of kicks that I have. Like maybe you're a little bit different now. Maybe you're not only into sweats and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, hey, I would like cargo pants. I would like what are considered the shirt jackets. Maybe I want to layer those with hoodies and different casual pants and my New Balances or my Air Maxes more. Okay, H&M is a great option for you to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
you can opt for that. So I would just say like be mindful. There are so many different ways that you can tailor what your closet is for yourself, and you can do it in a smart way. You don't have to dump thousands of dollars at once into it, because if
Yeah.
you're only chasing the latest everything, let's just say you're trying to transform your entire closet, like, and I made this mistake at one point, trying to buy too much of whatever you're really into now at one time,
Mm.
like you will spend so much money. So now
Yeah.
myself, when it comes to paying resale, even for the fear of God items I want, I have to tell myself now, it's okay. Things will restock for retail. Just be patient.
Yeah.
If they don't, it's not the end of the world. You may be okay paying $50 over retail, but I think patience is something that helps, because if you're patient, even if you know the look you want to go for based on the kicks that you have, if a sale eventually comes up, I think that's the time to strike.
Yeah. So TJ, one last question for you.
Yeah.
What can you give any advice to people uh when they're looking into the essentials or fear God pieces when they're buying from a third party? Is there anything that you can kind of guide them? Because look, at the end of the day, I ask you when I see something, hey, what do you think about this? Like one of the pieces that I really, really liked, it was an actual Fear God piece. I don't know if you remember, they did the collab with Metallica. The
Yeah, yeah.
Metallic
That.
well, it was a cutoff shirt, but it's one of those, hey, you can layer it, right? It was one of those,
Uh,
um,
was it the Bieber tour?
I don't know, just a Metallica, but it was like the black with the thing, and it had like the white up here.
Yeah, it was more
Yeah.
a print. It was more rock style print.
Yeah. So it was not bad. I mean, it was used when somebody was, I guess it was like $60, $70. And I was kind of like, that's a little cheap, but I found a bunch of them in the same price range. So I don't know if that was, a good price or not, but what advice can you do, or what can they look out for so they just don't get got?
Right. So sometimes some things are easier to catch than others. I will say that. And I'm not an expert or like an expert legit checker for some of the items, but that one line can, I'm not saying it's always going to reign true, but it can reign true sometimes, that if it feels too good to be true, it looks too good to be true. It can be. Again, I'm not saying that it always is that, because you may have someone where they purchased even a mainline item from years ago, let's say collection 1 or collection 2. So that's the heavy, what they used to call the Jerry Boy looks, where it was layers
Mhm.
on layers on layers. It was like a long tank, a long tee, a hoodie, and a jacket all layered together on one, layered shorts, layered pants. That was what he thought was necessary back then to get the certain look. He didn't realize fit played a factor, not the layers of clothing you had on. So that's the Jerry Boy look. You can find some of those items from first collection, second collection, and they are a decent price.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to do that. I've been able to do that for collection 1 and 2. I lucked up on something for 4. But when you're looking for these items, yes, it can be on eBay, it can be on Poshmark, it can be on Mercari, it can be on the Facebook Marketplace. I would say look all the way around, look at the person's ratings when it comes to it. See where the items are. Like eBay is an easy place to get got because there are so many replica items of essentials. And you'll usually be, sometimes you can tell because it's like tons of options, right? Tons of size,
Yeah.
tons of colorways. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So if you see that and it's like $30 for some shorts, no, don't even try it. It's not going to be real. You're not going to pay $30 for some shorts or even $30 for a t-shirt when the shirts are 40, the pants are 70. So that's not going to happen. If you're buying on Facebook Marketplace, I will say I think you're a little bit safer there a lot of times, but you can also ask for legit checks on one of the groups on Facebook. And so they will actually look based on the people in that group have a lot of the items they purchased during the retail drops.
Mm.
So they can look maybe at the tag, stitching, or different things and say, hey, you're good to go, or no, just pass. It's not authentic. So sometimes running it by people that have quite a few of those items in, that really helps. If it comes to the Nike, specifically just the Nike and Fear of God collection drops that happened in the past, on all of Jerry's tags, especially like I know for sure on the tops, there's the A's are underlined. So where it says like made in this place and made here, fabric this, the A's have like a little line that goes under them or through them at the very bottom. So that's a good way to be able to say, oh, okay, this is good, this is authentic. Because sometimes it can still have the tags, but not necessarily be authentic. So that's one way that you can check with the Nike Fear of God items, because that happened to me. So I thought, if you remember the double hood hoodie, it was one of the most unique pieces he's come out with, even to say with Nike, because I don't think Nike's ever done a double hood hoodie, or at least I can't recall them doing it. And I wanted this piece. It wasn't a low offer in terms of what you would pay for a hoodie on secondary market, but it was after the fact low for this piece because it's not easily floating around. You're going to pay 5 to 7, maybe even more for it. And I was able to, I think I paid $189 total with shipping. So let's just say $200. And you think you're good up until you're able to legit check it against like a real one. And then you see all the little nuances and ways that it's different. It's really the tag that gives it away. So you just have to be patient. Now I'm out of the $200. It's not the end of the world for me. It is what it is. It was a $200 lesson learned, but that may not be the case for somebody else. That may have been $200 they saved and now they're out of something, and that's painful. That's hurtful. Like being deceived does not feel good at all. I can promise you that. So you may just have to be patient to find that one particular item that you really want. My best advice to you, as soon as drops happen, that's the best time. If you miss out on a drop, the best time for you to flock to these different places would be immediately after that, because people will cop and throw them right on there and say, hey, I'm actually waiting for it to arrive from PacSun or Essence. Or what a lot of people will do, like on Grailed. Grailed is a really great place to shop for streetwear items, like Fear of God, Essentials, different brands like that. Grailed is a great place to shop, and you will see people actually have all of the packaging from Essence, from PacSun, with the tags and everything. Sometimes they may even post the invoice and just blank out their information to let you know this is legitimate, came from the retailer. So I would say check out Grailed too, like the second after it's dropped. Like as soon as all of the items dropped on January 15th, they weren't up on StockX just yet for you to see what the going rate was, but they were up on Grailed immediately. Like I saw them up on Grailed immediately as soon as it was done. I think some people threw them up on Poshmark too. So you have the secondary sites that you can use as a fail-safe, but just be smart, be patient, do a lot of homework, try to run it by somebody. If you see other people that have these things posted, sometimes in that Facebook market group, like I said, just ask them like really quick, hey, can you guys legit check this? And I would say do that too with the shoes right now. More so with Fear of God ones. I don't think there's a huge issue or concern with a lot of the raids, shoot arounds, Skylon 2s, the mocks, but with those Fear of God ones, go get check because I feel like people will try to get you for that. But my lesson learned hopefully helps you out.
Well, with that being said, it was another great episode. Glad to be back, TJ. Glad to have you back on my side, on my team. Any last words for the beautiful people out there?
Listen, hopefully you all are taking a look at release calendars, okay? Stay up to date on your information because we are already seeing pushbacks right now for releases for sneakers, for a lot of different retros. So just make sure you're up to date on that. I don't think it's a bad thing when they get pushed back just because that means you have another week, maybe another paycheck, to be able to set some money aside towards a release you really, really want. So, time is on our side now for some of those drops. So just make sure you're planning ahead also to have money ready for that to go. And listen, as always, please make sure you guys keep the full picture, okay, in mind. Like, don't have just some fly shoes. Like, please go put yourself together. Well, that's all I would have to say. But we are happy to be back, okay? AJ's back. New man, new baby.
I like it when they call me Big Papa. No, but as TJ Shirt says, act your age, not your shoe size. You know what I'm saying? Oh, speaking of that, TJ, are the pre-orders still open? Or are they closed for your?
No, they're still open. So good point. And for those that are watching, you'll actually be able to see this. So the crew neck sweatshirts are available for you to pick up. So you have the black one here with the white writing, red tag that says "Stay Fresh," and then on the back at the top of the neck, you have a Fresh Culture and Talks with TJ logos there. So those are still open, pre-order. All you have to do is go to freshculture.com and you will see them pop up in this color and then also in the cream and the red. Pre-order window is open through January 31st midnight, and then it's closed, and then we'll start getting those out to you guys. So yes, that is an awesome way for you all to support me, but also it's not my self-branded and plastered all over the shirt. It's just the message to keep in mind as we go through life. It's easy to get frustrated, but just remember, please act your age, not your shoe size.
Oh, plug. There we go. No, but honestly, TJ has one of the nicest gears out there. Like, it's super, super simple, but it tells you what you should do. Just act your age, not your shoe size. So, and the funny thing is, you don't know how. I'm telling you, there were so many people at Sneaker Travelers that had your shirt on. Hilarious. Tops was one. There was like 4 or 5 people just walking around, and I'm just like, so the thing is, I was on stage and I couldn't get to them. So again, so I will be back once again, March 7th, hosting Sneaker Travelers. I'll be there most likely with the crew. I know Jumperman Chris and all are going to be there, but hey, I'm back and I just got my vaccine, so you already know, can't touch this. But no, again, hey, stay safe.
Don't worry about the virus. You have to worry about AJ showing up, the host with the most, literally.
No, but wear your mask, stay safe, and hey, hug your family, love your family, and we will see you next week. Peace out.